Stay in the know with Radio 2000 podcast.
I managed to get a hold of Mr. Imran Patel, Deputy Director-General for Science, Development and Support at the Department of Science and Technology. How are you doing, sir?
Hi, good afternoon, David. I'm doing fine.
I hope you're well. This is a big event, it seems.
Yes, budget vote is always a big event.
Yeah.
And, on the back of budget vote, we decided to have this community outreach event.
Yes. I see there's lots of students and learners from all sorts of schools invited. What's the significance of that?
Well, they are the future.
Yes.
And science and technology is about the future. So as the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation, we pay a lot of attention to young people and make sure that we have programs that starts integrating them into our work, into our projects at a much earlier age. Without young people, we don't have a science and technology system.
Yeah. For those that did not catch the full budget vote speech, can you give us just a simple summary of some of the highlights that stand out in relation to particularly your department?
Okay. So you have to understand the projects that I'm going to highlight in the context that the DSTI budget is at 10 billion rands.
Mm-hmm.
So with the 10 billion rands, a significant portion of that funding goes to what we call our entities. People are familiar with, for example, the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR. We have a South African National Space Agency. We have the National Research Foundation, etc. So these entities need to continue their work, and they get a portion of the budget, about 40-50%. And in addition to that, we have very targeted programs. Some of the important ones where we're investing large amounts of funding is, for example, postgraduate funding support. So if you're a master's or PhD student that's deserving, that can't fund their own way, then through the NRF we provide this funding. We also have what we call national facilities that we fund. So the South African Astronomical Observatory is one of those facilities. We have another in Cape Town called iThemba Labs. We have the South African Radio Astronomical Observatory.
It's at the Northern Cape.
Yeah, well, no, they're based here as well, in Cape Town, but the actual SKA is in the Northern Cape. So all of the cost of keeping these national facilities going is also funded through the department. And then we have targeted programs, for example, on vaccine, on hydrogen, on working with the municipalities, on grassroots innovation, supporting technology stations, etc. So if I have to kind of describe all of the work, I think your listeners would be surprised that we get so much out of an investment of 10 billion rand of taxpayers' money. So there's a whole range of things that spans high science like astronomy, physics, etc., right down to technologies and innovations that support, for example, enterprises to improve their operations, or, like I said, grassroots innovators, or technologies to improve service delivery at municipal level.
Yeah. I want to spend a minute and talk about the 50% that funds all sorts of programs that have been on for forever and ever and ever that you mentioned earlier. Are we drawing any return on investment on all of those? Because it's easy to just throw money at it and say, they got it again, let's move on.
No, in fact, significant value comes out of those programs. We don't only provide the funding, we also monitor and evaluate and look at where that funding is going to. So let me give you examples. We have a small program comparative to the rest. Innovation funds.
Okay.
These are projects that we work with the private sector in particular sectors.
Okay.
Example, the citrus industry. You know that there's been a lot of talk about our citrus products going to the UK, etc. So one of the problems that the citrus industry faced was something called black spot disease. These lead to your citrus being rejected. Working with industry, we've identified ways of sorting that problems out through cold chain, etc. So it has a direct impact, because if we don't solve that problem, we will lose our export earning. In a similar way, we have the Mandela Mining Precinct, and with gold, our mines are getting deeper and deeper, which means the cost of getting to that gold
gets higher and higher. And some mines decide this is not worth it, they close it down.
So the way to deal with that is to say, can you mine more cheaply at higher depths.
Okay.
And with that, we have a very special project initiative, very well progressing very well, called the Mandela Mining Precinct. And they've developed a whole range of new things, new drill technologies, new methodologies, new sensors, and so it has a direct impact of keeping those mines longer.
Gotcha.
So I can give you many examples of avocados, of mangoes, of manufacturing, 3D printing that lowers cost, etc. Too numerous to mention. So these are embedded in the project. But I also want to highlight that one of the most important thing in any science system is people.
Absolutely.
And so a lot of our funding goes into supporting people in the form of masters, PhDs, but also interns. We have a large-scale internship program. Young people struggle to get into the labor market, and through funding that we provide, something like 40 million a year, we take on interns, and these interns are placed at our science institutions. For example, including here, SAAO, they had interns previously in the engineering shop, so that on the job they learn new skills, and at the same time they're getting their qualifications.
I'm a communication specialist, particularly in the government sector, where I observe very often that there's a huge disconnect between the people that are invited here, which is ordinary South Africans, and the learners as well, and some of the programs that are spoken of. You speak of so many great programs, and I imagine someone listening thinking, wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Almost everything you said sounds so new and unfamiliar, and yet you've been working on them for so long. What efforts are you making to try to get this information through to our people, so we can not look at it as 10 billion that's wasted, but 10 billion that's benefiting us as ordinary South Africans?
No, in fact, we're trying to do quite a lot. We've prioritized what we call science engagement. We have a science engagement strategy. So for in about less than a month's time, we'll have National Science Week. And during National Science Week, we try to popularize science, technology, and innovation. The challenge that we face is that there's so much happening in the world, and the noise sometimes overcrowds the good work. So I'm glad that, for example, Radio 2000 and some of the other media stations are here to be able to do this. We're also training journalists because we need more journalists to cover the science and technology story. So we have a science journalism program, and hopefully these people are based in local communities. And some of the learners this morning, we had a viewing of the budget vote, and I was encouraging them to become ambassadors, because as a department we can do as much as we can by having events like this, getting the media here, but we need champions on the ground. This morning, as an example, we had 20 colleagues from SAAO and the DSTI who went to the Mowbray taxi rank to just start creating a profile for this event. And one of the things I picked up was Takalani was telling me that an old woman said, wow, I didn't know this, because she started speaking to him. There's a lot happening, and we should be sending our kids. She heard of the SAAO and said, we need to be sending our kids here. So the minister has made this mantra. He's saying that as ourselves and our entities, we should place science, technology, and innovation at the center of government, education, industry, and society.
Absolutely.
And so with that, we need to find the champions. We need to do a lot more communication. So yes, there's a lot that we're doing, but when you're dealing with so much other things that are
taking space.
Then obviously sometimes we have to find our space in that crowded.
Maybe you should make your subject cool, and then everybody will talk about it, and it'll scanner about you. I see Minister Nzimande is unveiling two important facilities at South African Astronomical Observatory today, namely the Remote Operations Center and the Visitor Center. What is the significance of these in the development of the broader science and innovation agenda?
Okay, so let's start with the second one, with the Science Center. That's exactly the thing that we said before.
Yeah.
We need to provide spaces for people to come. Like in China, people go to science and technology museums, they're excited.
And all sorts of fairs are done in that regard.
So the Science Center here has been improved and refurbished. We've got some interesting exhibitions, so we encourage people who are coming to Cape Town for holiday, your listeners, or people from Cape Town to visit. We do get, I don't know the numbers, so don't quote me as completely correct, but the briefing notes I read is we already get about 20,000 people coming to this facility.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can double that. But in the same way, we have other facilities that we want to do. So the purpose of this was to make this facility more attractive to people. So that's the science center component. The remote operations facility is that the actual telescopes, if people come here, they won't be able to see the actual telescopes because the telescopes that SAAO runs is about 350 km from here in Sutherland.
Yeah.
It's in a remote area, it's dark, etc.
We are with Mr. Imran Patel, Deputy Director-General of Science Development and Support here at the Department of Science and Technology. And we're really just discussing, say, with regards to the significance of all these type of events that are happening. And you were giving us a more broader perspective of these things with the lady that you met at the rank.
Saying that part of popularizing science, technology and innovation is that people, when you engage them, realize what we have. And so she was saying that she should bring her kids to
these
facilities.
Yes, yeah.
But the facilities that we will launch, which you are asking today, like I said, the significance is to provide space for people to come and visit and see what's available and to get a better understanding of astronomy. And then the remote operating facility is to allow us to operate the instruments that are based in Carnarvon. But I would also encourage people to actually go to Sutherland.
Yes.
Carnarvon is where we have the radio telescopes which you're not able to see.
Yeah.
But in Carnarvon the skies are dark and you'll be able to really appreciate astronomy.
Yeah.
So we need to encourage people through your stations to visit.
Very important that you mention science and technology tourism as a sector all on its own. It's not very common that you find a family putting together maybe a tourist plan and they include science and technology as part of it, and yet there's so much to observe in our country based on what you're saying.
Yes. No, so we've finalized what we call an astro-tourism strategy.
Yeah.
It's both for local and for international role players, and the idea is to actually showcase what we have. But really the key is that we have in South Africa places that are dark skies, so we can really appreciate astronomy. And we're working very closely with our colleagues in the Department of Tourism to create the facilities that will allow people to come to or easily access these places.
Looking beyond the Western Cape, how is the department ensuring that the benefits of science, technology and innovation reach historically disadvantaged areas and institutions?
We have active programs, so we work with remember, part of the science system is the universities. And the universities, particularly the historically disadvantaged institutions, whether it's University of Venda or Limpopo, etc., are based in communities. So in many instances, we're deliberate about making sure that we don't only have events in the Western Cape. For example, National Science Week. Previous years, we took it to Venda, we took it to Free State last year. This year, it's at Tshwane University of Technology. So that's one way. The second way is that we have a program where we've identified what we call innovation champions in communities. And we basically work with those innovation champions. We then have programs that are targeted at marginalized communities. As an example, we have a water project in Eastern Cape. So we work practically with a whole range of institutions. So we're deliberate about not focusing just on urban areas. Obviously, there's a lot more that we need to do, and hopefully we will be able to secure the budgets, but there's a lot that we're doing already.
Thank you so much. Before I turn this into a talk show, I appreciate it. Thank you for the invitation as well, Mr. Patel.
No problem. Thanks, David, and have a good day.
Thank you so much. It's Mr. Imran Patel, Deputy Director, General Research, Development and Support at the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation.
If you missed it, catch the rewind on radio2000.co.za.